And welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, my dragonlings. As you can see, I've been working on the sword prop image. There's going to be one more image to this. Just giving an update, like I said in that little short. I do apologize, I did not post anything last week. My desktop decided to die again. I also have another image to share that I started working on in a different pad. Bit of a rework. Now, I actually messed up on positioning in one sense to go off the page, but ended up doing that. Other than that, the pose is a little better. Got a bit of a side chest there. Decided to play with the top a little bit. It is Kiva. It's nearly complete. She will be inked. Main hero of the story, Paragon of Dragons. Now, what we're going to actually do today, we're going to ink, not her, but this guy. I'm actually proud of this guy. I used an image reference of Captain America for this pose by a connection I have on LinkedIn. His name is Stephen E. Gordon. And he's been in the animation industry for a very long time. I have seen quite a few of his works, and one of his works was X-Men Evolution, one of my favorite animated series back in the early 2000s. If you've never seen it, I recommend it. It's actually very good. This is a image of a warrior, middle-aged. His name is Quin. He is from the other story that I have called The First Paragon. He is not a paragon, but he's the father / mentor to the main character in the series named Sunrook, which he gave him. If I start getting many followers on my Substack, I will start posting them on there. The subscription for my Substack is $5. I do have quite a few free things. Quin Matthias. He's also known for a nickname, the Deathbringer. Specializes in defeating creatures of the night. I do have a backstory of his on Medium, but yes, we're going to ink him up right now. I'm actually very proud of this one. I love how this one came out. We're going to just start off inking him. And here we go. Always remember when you ink, the pressure you use makes a difference. That's the same as when you ink digital. The amount of pressure makes a difference for your lines. For the initial drawing, it took me... Well, the shield was in another video, in a different session, believe it or not. But the drawing itself, I worked on it little by little, taking breaks in between. It took a few days, but that's because I wanted to take my time with it and pretty much get it right. His hair is a mess because he's running a force, and that's just the wind flowing through it. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. I think the hint of him running and the wind running through his hair is actually pretty cool. And again, I have a Substack. I do have a Patreon. I have a comic page on Patreon for $3 of the Paragon of Dragons. I will put a link in the description. I am going to adjust the Patreon. I do have a $5 tier that I think I'm going to post some of the videos on. I don't have one there, but I think this will look a little better like so. Now in the story, he starts off 30-ish when he meets the main hero. Quin himself is a main character, and he actually lives in a different city than the other characters, both him and Sunrook. They live in the city named Centauri. And their story is actually a prequel to the Paragon of Dragons, hence the title The First Paragon. If you're not comfortable one way, always make sure you're comfortable doing your lines. If you're not, you're going to make mistakes, and that's the bottom line. I'm going to add some of those smaller details really quick. When you draw a character, you kind of want to put them in dynamic poses to make them stand out. I chose this one to push my limits a little bit. The lights glare in his eyes. Again, he is an older fellow. And he is actually one of my favorite characters. This is only the second time I've drawn him in full like so. The first time, actually no, I take it back. It's technically the third time. The first time he was kneeling. The second time he was standing at ease as he was interviewing someone. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything. I would rather you guys read and find out. I am going to post them, this first Paragon, at probably starting next month. It will also go, it also has to be said on Substack, the third saga of the Paragon of Dragons the first part will be posted. So I'm trying to be as precise in making minor adjustments as I go. But I will color him in another video. His armor is slightly segmented. Besides the shield, the only other piece of armor he's got is the chest plate. He is of an older generation, and his tactics rely on movement more than defense. I do that more movement from the Centaurians. They prefer the lighter side of things. Now the shield I'm going to do with a different one. I want to be a little more bold for the rim of the shield. So I'm going to use a 1.5. As careful as I can be. There we go. A little more comfortable with doing that. Round one. And essentially doing the same thing here. The emblem of the shield is actually the city's symbol. I chose a star because Centauri is named after Alpha Centauri. It is also a small Easter egg to the city in a game I made at the college for game design. And we made a city, and it was being invaded by orcs, so I had to come up with names, and I liked the name Centauri, and we went with that. But yeah, that's why I chose a star. They also, in the game, we actually did like gems, like a little gem look for the emblem, but I decided to change it up. To a star because I thought it was more fitting. There we are. Shield is done. And what he's carrying in his pouches is battle supplies such as potions and healing herbs, bandages, what have you. Since he is a soldier, he would have to mend himself on the field. I just figured that would be the right thing to do. I do take some tips from a little bit of World of Warcraft, a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. I've gotten a little more into Dungeons and Dragons to learn more of the mechanics and things like that. Always remember, I've said it in another video, gravity is a thing. Make sure you add a little bit of gravity to your clothing. I'd like to give a shout out to the Forever DM, who I am slowly becoming friends with for the best available, and who has inspired me to continue on my craft of not just art, but writing. I enjoy his videos and his games. I'm also going to give a shout out to Uma Clover, who is designing now an intro and an outro for my channel. Met them on X, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. And very soon I will have those. Some of the boot details. This is where I have a little difficulty right here, of course. And there you have it. Quin Matthias, the bringer of death. Now fully inked. Peace out and have a good night, my dragonlings.